I'm 22 years old, going on 23 this year. I've been playing video games ever since I can remember. But since senior school back in 2017, I've been slowly losing interest in video games. In this video series, I wanted to discuss why. But first, let's recap my gaming life. My life as a gamer began in the early mid-2000s, when my home was Brisbane. My mother taught me how to use a computer, and subsequently, I discovered the internet. The internet was still young and filled with limitless untapped potential. YouTube was just that small taboo website where you could go to find music videos alongside the occasional cat video. Facebook was that website where college students would go to message each other and share pictures of themselves drunk at frat parties. The internet was still a safe haven, exclusive to nerds. It wasn't nearly as large and important as it is today. But just like today, it had many positives, along with many negatives. You are an idiot! But most importantly for my childhood, there were free online games. I would play these games whenever I could, which wasn't often. Mum would only let me use a computer for half an hour a day, if at all. The game I have the most fond memories of during this era was an escape-style car game by the name of On the Run. I discovered it on a website that many of you millennials and some Gen Zers may know. It's called Miniclip. You start off in the middle of a city in a small yellow car. As soon as the traffic light turns green, you must go full speed ahead through a maze of roads, parks, bridges, sewers, and industrial networks to escape from the grasp of a mysterious organisation by the name of the Corporation. What I loved most about this game was the illusion of freedom it gave. Perhaps this was just my naive mind lacking the basic understanding of game development mechanics, but more likely I believe it was an intentional design feature to add to the immersion. In reality, there was only one destination, and only one way to get there, but the fact that there were a few smaller backstreets and even a few safe havens from the corporation's vans of death gave it a feeling of genuine freedom. Moreover, it emphasised freedom in a manner that wasn't overly complicated. There were two simple mechanics that determined whether you would make it or not: fuel and damage. Fuel would naturally deplete because that's how petrol works. The more you use an engine of a car, the more petrol it would burn up, eventually becoming empty. I mean, you can't run a car on fumes, can you? And having an empty tank of gas, in the words of my old logistics manager, would be very bad for the player. Damage was accumulated either through being smack shot by the enemy or falling too far from a height. When your car couldn't withstand the damage anymore, it would explode. I loved this game and played it for years, dare I say over a decade. I played the sequels of the game, but I didn't enjoy them as much as the original. The uniqueness wasn't there. They were great games and all, but they weren't as good. I think it was the lack of music in the original that made it so special. Another game that had an immensely positive childhood impact on me was Transylmania II. You play as a vampire kid with the objective of retrieving your stolen teddy bear from the evil Dr. Festona. While it was a quick game to complete with only a couple of levels, I still enjoyed it, as I had inferior gaming skills at the time, like most kids do. I particularly liked the sound effects and the animations when you sucked the blood out of a poor villager. The sound of the bones falling to the ground should be considered one of gaming's most iconic sounds in my opinion. The final level was special for me. I loved the music and the unique boss that was unexpected for me at the time. Mind you, I was a stupid little kid. So many other free online games decorated the internet with countless memorable moments and nostalgic experiences. These included, but were by absolutely no means limited to, Soccer Stars, Lego Racer, Haunt the House, Populous, Uphill Rush, Bloxorks, Give Up Robot, and many, many more. I would jump to the chance to play some free online games as a kid, but unfortunately my mother would only let me play for half an hour a day. In hindsight, I think it was probably best that it was that way. I should have stayed fit and become an AFL footballer instead. I probably would have too if my team wasn't trash. Still, I love my Blue Baggers though. My journey with free online games would continue unabated until 2011. What could have occurred that shifted my interest, you ask? Well, Mum got me a tablet. It was a Sony Android and I played games to death on it. The most memorable game was a Pacific War themed fighter plane game called Pacific Navy Fighter. This game was one of my favourite World War II games in the early 2010s. Yes, the graphics were crude and the gameplay was basic, but that didn't stop me from loving it. Why? Well, the simplicity was executed in an enjoyable fashion. It was so satisfying to shoot down enemy Zeros or sink destroyers and battleships with those massive yellow circles called bullets. It was a cheaply made game, but unlike other cheaply made games, this one had soul. I was super upset to discover that this game was Android exclusive. But within this Android stint, I discovered a game that would change my life forever. Minecraft. One of the most popular games in the history of gaming. I discovered the demo of the Minecraft Pocket Edition on the Sony Android. I don't know what it was that clicked inside me, but it clicked. A new journey began. A Minecraft journey. I built many crude structures that I couldn't save due to the demo version not allowing it. Now, they are nothing more than just mere memories that even I can barely remember. I do remember the first time I played though. I built the smallest little house in a collapsed cave in a small mountain. I remember asking myself, what are the dangers of this world? I thought that maybe a party of hunters or something like that was out to get me. Little did I know that I was on creative mode. And at the time, creative mode had no enemies. I decided to give survival mode a crack. For 11-year-old me, it was on a whole nother level. The world I spawned into was a beach. A small valley of mountains was behind the beach, separating it from the rest of the world. Instinctively, I knew I needed to build a house to stay safe at night. After 5 or 10 minutes, the world started to get darker and darker. Night was upon me. I eagerly waited in anticipation of what monsters might be after my blood. Then, I heard the unmistakable moans of a zombie approaching. I opened the door to see that a horde of zombies was slowly walking towards me. I equipped my axe and charged into battle. When night finally ended, the zombies fled over the hills and presumably died. It was as if they could actually think and know where to go. The demo got very stale very quickly. I really wanted the full version. When I finally got it, I decided to dedicate an entire world to my imagination. The world was my canvas and I held all the paintbrushes. I can still remember some of the creations in this world. A school, a bunch of houses, a castle, a battleship, a large skeleton holding his bow the wrong way, a tree house, a cinema, a hotel, and much, much more. Minecraft was my canvas, and I was Vincent van Gogh. But then, I made one of the most amazing discoveries. I discovered the original PC edition of Minecraft. I remember when I first discovered Minecraft.net. It was a special day, not only for me, but my family. The trailer still gives me goosebumps. I remember watching the old Minecraft YouTube videos, not the soulless garbage of today. The videos of old that were made not for money, but for fun. Videos that were grassroots and genuine. I fell in love with Minecraft. The creative freedom, the lack of rules or a tutorial, and the lack of any real restrictions. It hooked me. I felt truly immersed by the game. It was like a new virtual world for me to live in. I've had many memories. I remember the smell of the coffee stains in my mum's office when I played Minecraft back at my old house. I remember one survival world, which was just named a random bunch of letters that I pronounced Jfunf, in which I had an underground base and a wolf I would call Wolfie. I stopped playing that world after I was killed by an enderman and my wolf was shot by a skeleton. I remember the creative world we made to expand a village and create our own houses. I remember when my house was burnt down and Herobrine made a bunch of signs in the house. In hindsight, it was probably my sister trying to get back at me for some reason that I can't remember. Still, I never went in caves for ages, and I got the fear of ambient cave noises. I also never rebuilt the house and used it as a shrine for proof that Herobrine existed. Until I grew a brain. I remember the sound effects and music of old. It was beautiful and on another level. One of the most memorable Minecraft videos I ever watched was a Hat Films video called The Evolution of Minecraft. It made Minecraft even more special for me. Minecraft was my introduction to PC gaming. In 2012, I heard about a 2D version of Minecraft on Good Game Spawn Point called Terraria. At first, I was skeptical. I was like all the other dumb 12-year-olds at the time and thought it was a Minecraft ripoff. But all that changed when I first loaded it. This game. Oh my goodness, this game is just on another level. It absolutely runs rings around Minecraft. If Minecraft and Terraria competed in NASCAR, Terraria would be on the 100th lap before Minecraft would even get halfway around the first. It's of my belief that Terraria was and still is one of the best games to ever be released on Steam. So what do I love so much about Terraria? I love the sheer amount of content in the game. I love the fact that you can choose 4 different classes during the game, and you can switch to whichever one you want. I love that there are so many bosses in the game, and defeating them actually helps you to progress through the game, rather than giving you a reward like they do in Minecraft. I love the music of Terraria and the graphics, the gameplay and the progression. Despite the fact it has a huge amount of content, the game is actually surprisingly simple. It's this balance that makes this game so great. There may be a huge amount of crafting stations, but only a few are actually useful for your gameplay. The others are mostly vanity. One thing that Terraria made me realise was just how flawed of a game Minecraft really is. The progression system in Minecraft is trash, terrible, tedious, boring, and just an endless grind. But still, this was just the beginning of my PC gaming journey. I could talk about my journey for ages, but this video would go on long enough as it is. Victoria 2 provided me with my first glimpse into grand strategy. Turns out, I'm not really into complex strategy games, and I suck at them. EU4 was mediocre and relied too heavily on mana. Hoi 4 was pretty decent. I have a few other Paradox games, but I never seem to enjoy them as much as Vic 2. I played Goat Simulator for a while, and actually quite enjoyed it, but I got bored of it. I played The Forest, which I consider to be the best realistic survivor game in history. I mean, Green Hell looks alright, but it's laggy as hell on my PC. I played Gary's mod, which I found boring on its own, but I did enjoy using mods such as airplane mods, nukes, and many others. I played Euro Truck Simulator 2, and my company is now worth 60 million euros. I played Far Cry 2, 3 and 4. I find out of these 3, Far Cry 4 is the best, and Far Cry 3 is the worst. Don't judge. I just didn't like the story of Far Cry 3 in relation to, gameplay, because I wanted to play the game slowly, but I couldn't because I felt like if I did, then my friends would be sold to slavery and I would fail.
You're all puppets, and we pull the strings. The system was designed to work that way. Screw your system.
It makes me unnecessarily rush through the world, and then I would feel deflated when the game finally finished. I just didn't like Far Cry 3. The only thing I really liked about it was Vars.
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is?
I played Cuphead, Getting Over It, Vanished, Crash Bandicoot, and even Call of Duty. Though the only Call of Duty games I played really were World at War and Black Ops 2. It was at this point I began to notice a decline in the state of the gaming industry. I noticed that there wasn't really a spark in any new video games. I started to have a look at old games. I was playing games such as Half-Life 2, which I really enjoyed for a few reasons. The first being the fact that it just places you in the world, and you have to figure it all out. The next reason being its simplicity. Notice a repeating theme here? I love the graphics, sound effects, and enemies. I also loved the story and the fact that the game was continuous. However, despite the fact that there were all these games that I loved, they all began to become stale, like overripe fruit or meat that has been left out in the open air for months. But in 2017, I discovered a new game that would change my perspective on gaming, but only temporarily. Prey is a game that was released by Bethesda and, in my opinion, is one of, if not the best FPS games in the history of gaming. You play as Morgan Yu, the brother or sister of Alex Yu. You are part of a team of scientists working with an alien species called the Typhon. They cannot communicate with humans, feel empathy, and all they do is consume other living creatures and store their memories and feelings in this coral stuff. As the protagonist, you have two choices. One, use the prototype nullwave designed by you and your brother to neutralize the Typhon and save the space station that you're on. Or 2, destroy Talos 1 and consequently the Typhon on board. What is there to say about this game? I just love it so much. If Prey was a woman, she would be the smartest, funniest, kindest, most mind-numbingly gorgeous woman in existence. The graphics are amazing and beautiful. The music is legendary and really fits the theme. The story's alright, the missions are cool and creative, the choices you make impact the game at its course. I love the realism and the immersion in the game. Pretty much every single door can be opened. Every room can be accessed one way or another. I especially love the looking glass. It's incredible. I also love the fact that each character, no matter how minor they are, has a small story of their own. You could find a corpse in the middle of a hallway and loot its transcribe and listen to them having a dialogue with another minor character, or even yourself or Alex. The best part of the game, in my opinion, was the recycling system and the neuro mods. I love just being able to explore every single nook and cranny in search of rubbish, just to recycle and save up for neuro mods. Almost everything about this game is done perfectly. 10 out of 10. Prey was, in my opinion, the last good game that was ever created. There have been no good games since. Valheim was pretty decent, but it's far from complete. I've almost given up on the gaming industry, to be quite honest. I keep on looking through my games inventory on Steam for a game that I can occupy my time with, but I just can't find any. They're all stale and I've played them to death. So why do I not enjoy gaming anymore? Why are there no good games for me anymore? I will cover some of these reasons in the next video. Thanks very much for watching this video. I was originally going to make this just one video, but that would be over 40 minutes long. So I thought, why not break it into two? It's not like I'm monetized yet or anything. This was an idea that I conceived way back in 2019 when I was bored and doing nothing. So some parts of it may seem a bit dated, though I went through the script and tweaked it up to be a bit more up to date, you know? Who knows? Maybe if I get Patreon and you donate to me, I might share the original script. It's quite a gem too, if not borderline defamatory. Oh, and one more thing. I'm surprised that you guys haven't noticed that I have a Discord server. Yes, I have a Discord server. It's very small at the moment and quite crude, but hopefully as I grow and the server grows with me, I can have some moderators help me out with it. Join if you want. And I have a little riddle for you. If you can figure it out based on these clues alone in this video, you are an Einstein level genius. Especially since I haven't actually told you what you're looking for. I will add more to this riddle later in later videos, but here it is. In our east, across oceans abroad, lay an island where magpies triumph and applaud.